Hi everyone, it's Michael Caraccio again. Welcome to another episode of Just My Honest Opinion. Sorry I didn't pump any episodes out this week. Today's Saturday, September 7th, 2024. Got a little busy. I know it was a short week on the with the holiday, with Labor Day week. So happy belated Labor Day to everyone. I also took some of the time to try to figure out exactly uh, what topic I wanted to talk about today. I think I'm going to try to actually do two videos in one day. Um, I think for this episode, I want to get into uh, what I feel is a credit card bubble, and because of recent events regarding, I guess, tied into it and such. Some questions I have regarding cryptocurrency and, Bitcoin and such. So those with financial understandings, I hope you're paying attention and such that you can, like I say, give my opinion on and such, and maybe you can help me understand and other people to understand some things. Want to start out letting you know that I would again like to ask if here you go. If you can follow these videos on Rumble, it's really important. More so for the Rumble than opposed to the Facebook. I mean, I appreciate both if you follow me on both. But the Rumble, I'm trying to get monetized on and such. So if you could follow the Just My Honest Opinion channel on Rumble, that's the URL for that. You can also find me on Facebook, which has links that can point you back to Rumble. I understand that maybe you need to, sign up for a an account with Rumble and such in order to follow me. Sorry for that inconvenience and such. They really are a good platform. They're really wide open on a lot of things that are being posted and such, and they're not as noisy, in my opinion, as YouTube is. What I mean by that is that I have not had any trouble with junk mail and spam and alerts as much that I'm able to control what I want to be alerted on and such a little bit better than YouTube. Not knocking on YouTube and stuff, but Rumble seems to be an easier platform and such, and a little more direct to be able to do things like that. And like I said, whether it's on Rumble or Facebook, you can leave comments, opinions, and again, maybe educate me a little bit on something that you see in one of my videos that you kind of go, "Hey, Mike, I think you kind of got this wrong," or maybe I don't understand that, and maybe start a little dialogue in a manner of speaking. I will try to answer them as fast as possible. If you have a little bit more in depth uh, questioning or things you want to provide and such, I have my email address up there. Please make sure that you put JMHO in the subject, because I do have a filter on my mailbox and such, and I don't want to end up getting it mixed into my personal emails and everything. And I do want to answer your email as much as possible, that you can get more in depth on anything that I end up discussing on any of the episodes, or maybe you want to give me a recommendation or a suggestion, or maybe something you want to get my opinion on and stuff, that maybe I can make an episode out of it and let you know and kind of uh, give you again my opinion or whatever and such, and see how many people have the same thoughts or issues and such on things that are going on in your community, out in the social, in our society, or country or whatnot, whether it's the United States or somewhere around the world. I do ask that if you would, to make sure you share the videos, not only follow them, but let me know if you like them, you don't like them and stuff. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. I'll take all constructive criticism seriously. I don't mind learning from you folks. I hope I'm able to, not only educate other people out there and such. And when I say educate, it's not in a condescending way and such. It's just sometimes, people want to have that exchanging of ideas, or, maybe there's a question that they wanted to ask that, you know, they didn't know who to ask and stuff. And maybe I bring something up and go, hey, kind of helps you out. All right. So that was the 5 minute spiel. I'll give another couple of minutes spiel and stuff on do all that fun stuff with sharing and following and such. I really, really would appreciate if you follow and register on Rumble so you can follow me. But I'd rather get to the topics that I brought up. First portion of this video has to do with what I feel is a credit card bubble. Now, what I mean by that is I don't know how many folks have been hearing about how much credit card debt consumers like you and me are carrying in the United States right now. That it is a phenomenal number. I think the last number I heard was $1.14 trillion. And if I'm making a face over it and stuff, that's pretty big. It's a pretty big deal. What that basically, my understanding of it is folks are putting charges on their credit card that are helping them sustain their way of living and such. And through some things I've read, it appears that folks are putting things on their credit card that they would never put on their credit card before, or they're carrying over things they've charged on their credit card that they haven't been able to pay and such. So that a lot more folks are making minimum payments on their credit card. Send us only $20, $40 or whatever and such this month, just to keep their credit rating from going down. Because if you don't understand, or at least my understanding is when it comes to doing the minimum payment on your credit card, if you do make the minimum payment and such, of course you get charged interest on the remaining balance. However, it also prevents you from having kind of a negative effect on your credit score. So even though you're not paying back the full debt on your credit card, such as primarily it's Visa, MasterCard, Discover Card, cards like that. If you make the minimum payment, when they report back to the credit bureau, they basically say, yes, you have been paying your bill, even though you have not completely zeroed out the amount of credit, or zeroed out the bill. That's a revolving credit. Credit card, that is a revolving credit, that it just continues to accumulate interest and such as you go along if you do not pay it in full. Now, personal information is regarding me is I always have since I've had credit cards. I pay in full every month. And if I find that, the amount is creeping up and such, I try to use my credit card a little less. That's my personal preference. I mean, folks can use their credit cards at will. The basic point I was getting to and such is the fact that people are piling on debt onto their credit cards and such that they wouldn't have normally done. And we're not talking about, buying a new tablet or a new phone so much. We're talking about buying daily, weekly, monthly groceries, paying off, their cash on hand might be a little low that week, so they're whipping out the credit card to pay to fill up the tank and the gas. That gas is so high because back 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, it might only cost you $20, maybe $40 to fill up your tank. and now it's costing you anywhere between 60 to like $120, depending on the size of your car and such. But it's almost doubled, that you don't have that kind of cash around. Um, so again, it goes on the credit card. Then when the credit card bill comes due that month, there you are looking at, instead of a credit card bill of maybe, $400 or $500, you're looking at it at $1,400, $1,500. And again, you don't have the money for it, so you make the minimum payment of whatever. Let's say you just throw $100 at it to keep your credit rating good. But you get charged a higher interest rate on your credit card. Now, credit card interest rates also are tied to the economy, that they go up or down. I'm sure you've seen the interest rates and such, whether it's, for mortgages to buy a house, loans to buy a car, home equity loans and such. They have been going higher. Therefore, credit card interest rates also go higher too. So maybe if you had a 15, 18% credit card interest rate and such, it's probably up to like 24. I've seen on mine, I think it's like 26 plus. But again, like I said, mine, I'm discounting because again, I pay my balances in full. I am pretty uh, rigid in a matter of speaking when it comes to my carrying debt and paying off bills and such, and managing my budget, household budget and such. So I do pay off the credit cards as soon as it comes in. I zero it out and kind of start all over. But I try to make sure that I am not killing myself on the credit card debt in particular. Um, Primarily, what I put on my credit card and stuff are basic, uh, uh, the household. We go grocery shopping, primarily for the big bulky items and such. Once every month, sometimes once every 6 weeks. Depends. What I'm talking about is toilet paper, tissues, paper products and such, cleaning garbage bags, those kind of non-perishables. But we do the food shopping, once a month. Got a freezer downstairs, and a refrigerator in my garage, and another refrigerator, an old refrigerator in the garage, and a refrigerator in my kitchen and such. I mean, we do kind of stock up. We do have to do some grocery shopping for, the occasional eggs and milk and such on a semi-daily basis. But, I don't use a credit card for that. We do cash, um, which is, more convenient, and it definitely helps your budget better, in my opinion. Uh, so, uh, again, it seems that as the economy, as much as it seems people trying to convince everybody that things are getting better, and I hate to use the phrase because I know it's been out there and such, the don't believe your eyes, believe what I'm telling you kind of. It is kind of bad out there. I mean, if you're saying that it's just as good as it was 4 years ago or 5 years ago, um, I'm gonna have to go on a hard no on that. I'm gonna call shenanigans. What do I really call it? I've already put the disclaimer out there and stuff that I will be using profanity, and here comes it. I'll call bullshit. Um, it's not better out there. We are paying more for pretty much everything. I don't think there's anything out there that we're not. As I did in my, I believe my opening first episode and stuff, I showed you that as of last month, it's costing us 20% more, uh, and that's than it was 4 years ago. That's not made up. It's not political propaganda. It is from the United States government. What we could buy for $100 4 years ago, back in 2020, 2021, the beginning. I think it's December of 2020 is the time I used, up to now, recent. And the recent they have is August, and I believe that was from the government Office of Labor Statistics. What it cost us $100 to buy for $100 back in December of 2020 is now costing over $120, and it's even more, I'm sure, now that we're in September. I think the simplest things that I look at is a large can of Arizona green tea is one of my preferred grab drinks. You know how the can always had that 99-cent sticker on it, and it always, it was for $1. Big can, iced tea, could have it for $1. Now it's $1.59, and I'm in Jersey, so prices may vary depending on where you are, but the fact is and such is that should stand out to folks. How was the same product and the same can size? I mean, that's one of the key things why I use it as a gauge. I know people have talked about shrinkflation. It's the same price it was 4 years ago, but there's less in the bag or there's less in the box. Shrinkflation is real. I've noticed that. I mean, my local CVS has these, we'll call them sales on breakfast cereals. And I'm looking at the boxes and such, and the boxes are getting shorter. They're getting thinner. They're not as thick. But, the prices also still have gone up. And yeah, you can't, if somebody would like to convince me that things are better or the same as they were 4 years ago, have at it. Let me know. Comment it. Send me an email. Give me something. And I'm telling you, right hand to God, I will do an episode on it and show your information and such to say, whoever it may be, sent me this information to counter the point I'm making now, which is things are worse economically, they're going to show me how it's better. Again, I will also consider no answer is an answer that I have it right. I do have a couple of charts I want to share with everybody, and it has to do primarily with the debt I'm looking over because I got multiple screens. I'll share the screen. What you'll see here, this chart and stuff comes from, I would consider, a nonpartisan body, which is the New York Fed. They've been pretty reliable in one of the sources that I do go to. Usually a Fed is for all I know, I could be naive and such, but they have been a steady source of reliable information, in my opinion, so I use them. This chart, you could see they have multiple things on, the debt that's being carried by people, and again, they use Equifax. Hopefully this is a good shot that you can see. I know folks might be watching this on their phones. I'm sorry if it's small. I'll try to. So again, I will come down here. You can see, if you can see my mouse, here it is. New York Fed Consumer Credit Panel. They're using information based off of Equifax. I'll just zoom out a little bit again. And a little bit more, so I can just get the whole, that's too much. Sorry about that. Anyway, you can see that the bar chart, I'll try to simply explain it because I know sometimes charts are not easy to read. The orange is mortgages. The purple is HE revolving, which is home equity. If you have a home and you have a loan against the equity that you've built up in your house, that's what that would be. That would be the purple. Green in here is the auto loans. Then you have your credit card bills, your credit card debt that's being carried. Then you have your student loans, of course, which I kind of discussed in a previous episode. If you want, interesting from the feedback I've gotten from folks regarding the student loans and having the government pay them off. And then you have this little gray area here that's kind of other. It's probably a mixed bag of different types of loans. Could be personal loans that you get from your bank. It could be other equity type loans and such. The primary thing off of this chart is the, if you can definitely see between the first quarter of 2020, which is again down here, you can see 20 colon Q1. You see that it kind of, I guess at the beginning of the COVID lockdowns and such, was relatively steady, and then as we were coming out of COVID and such in 2021 and 2022, you can start seeing how things kind of just started taking off, and we end up having $17.69 trillion worth of debt out there. This is astronomical. I mean, I think that's pretty self-evident. It did take off. Again, if we can, you want to have the political comparison, you can see that pretty much during the Trump administration, which started, let's see, back in 2017, really, January of 2017, when he was sworn in and such and proceeded, was in general, for the most part, through his administration, was no worse off than what it was during George Bush's administration. Of course, it was, there is a dip here that you may want to say, during the Obama administration and such, people weren't carrying as much debt. And yes, you do see that dip during that period and such. However, economically and such, Americans were doing worse. Whether it was their salaries or the cost of receiving a loan for cars or houses and such, and people seem to be kind of were pulling back at that time and stuff, making big ticket item purchases and such. So what ended up happening is that, yeah, people were not carrying as much debt, but people were not feeling better about how they were living either. And it was not a positive thing. I mean, if that was dipping down and people were making more money and such and paying in cash and things cost cheaper and such, I would agree and say, yeah, this dip is awesome because, people didn't need to carry as much debt. They were able to pay for things, but that isn't what happened. People were feeling good during the Bush administration and also during the Trump administration and such, and they were doing better and such. And so they were feeling that they were able to carry more debt because they were able to pay it off. What also does that end up meaning? The thing is that, again, I will go, I'm sorry I didn't use this in my episode with the student loans and stuff, but you see kind of the red, how the bands start growing, that the student loan bands ended up expanding, after the Bush administration, during the Obama administration and such, and just continued on through both the Trump and really took off during the current Biden-Harris administration. You also can see how, the blue bands were pretty steady before George Bush, during Obama, and even during uh, Trump. But about 2021, 2022, these bands actually started to expand. And I know it's a little tough to see. I'll try to zoom in. You see how big the bands start getting all the way to present day. They start to expand. It's subtle, but it is bigger. Um, Again, there is from what I was reading on Fed site, the percentage numbers uh, that they were using here, 3%, 9%, 6%. These are the increases, or how? No, I'm sorry, not the increases. How much of the total debt balance each thing is carrying, and between auto loans, student loans, and credit card debt, we're talking, 24%, a quarter of the debt, just on those three items alone. I mean, of course, mortgages usually are the largest because they're the largest uh, acquisitions in scope of price and longevity of carrying, because of like 30-year mortgages and such. So that's kind of expected. Um, Now, this graph I found. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just bounce it a little bit just to make it fit the screen a little better. I found that this chart was the absolute most interesting that the New York Fed had out there and such, because as you can see, when it came to how the economy has been going and such, you can see that the home equity revolving credit and such has gone down, kind of, flatlined in a sense, and then just has been slowly declining. Mortgages, again, were doing well, started to come down during the Obama administration, and then kind of leveled off and actually started to head up a little bit, but pretty much stayed flatlined during Trump's administration into the Biden-Harris administration. Autos, which is the red, of course, here, was, kind of wavy, but really started to take off during the Trump administration. But then the autos started to go down, which is why you hear about, car companies like Ford and such uh, claiming losses, not only just regarding EVs, but cars overall. Um, it has been primarily the EVs that have been driving auto loans lower because of the how high a cost they are. And people are taking their cars because even for gasoline driven combustible engine cars and stuff have been still expensive, that people are not buying cars. So that also has a negative effect on the economy and such, and jobs. So you see how, I'll just generally say, in the auto loan mortgages and home equities and such, let's just say for the sake of argument, in my opinion and stuff, it's kind of stayed flatlined or pretty steady um, over the course of, I don't know, what does it say, over the last 20 years or so. I mean, it's had its fluctuations, ups and downs, been kind of nice, steady, and such. Um, okay. Of course, then we go to the credit cards. You see how the credit cards and the number of accounts that are out there and stuff have skyrocketed. How I see that this is and such is that you get those credit card offers uh, in the mail, even if it's the snail mail, you get them in your spam emails, you get them out on the internet and such, cash back. You get you know a bigger grace period, all of the offers that they give you on these credit card deals and such, and people are signing up for them left and right, which is what they've done. Um, Again, I'm going to have to say, me personally, the answer would be no. But you can see how many accounts have gone up to like 600 million credit card accounts, which also is an indication of the fact of how I would have to say Americans have become addicted. I don't even know if it's addiction is the right word. I would have to say out of necessity. I would say probably is the most of it, or it might be an addiction that everybody is snuffing cash and going to credit card. They whip out their card for everything, from gas to how easy it is to just tap at a convenience store when you're getting a Slurpee and a I don't know, a hot dog. I know I'm disappointed on a personal note and such on the fact of something like Yankee Stadium. I went to a game last year with my son, and there I was with a pocket full of cash, and I found out I couldn't purchase anything. I couldn't get a couple of dogs and a beer unless I used my credit card. I just refused to use my credit card. My son was, you know, smart enough, I guess, and I was lucky enough that he bought everything on his credit card, but I settled up with him. Uh, but I was kind of disappointed that it came to that, and the fact is, and such is that personally, I find cash is king. I'll save that because I'm pretty much going to be flipping over uh, regarding cryptocurrency and everything. But I think as you say, between the millions of credit card accounts and from the previous graph of the fact of people are, uh, we got $1.14 trillion worth of debt out there. Um, I have to say that can be quite disheartening. We're the fact that we have to charge to pay later to feed our kids, to feed ourselves, to gas up our cars, to go to work, or even you're commuting for your train or your bus and such, and you're unable to pay right there and then. Sure, you put it on your credit card, but going from month to month to month, you can't pay these things off yet, and you have to stretch it out. And I guess you might be, sometimes people have to like cross their fingers and hope for better things to come down. Apparently it hasn't been getting better. That's why the debt is uh, piling up on our cards. um, and here we are, like I said, we're in 2024. And what are we starting to hear on the news? The economy's slowing down. Personally, I don't think it's because of the American people. I think it's because of the Biden-Harris administration's policies. They have put the American people into the position that they need to live on credit. We're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. Our paychecks can't even keep up with the economy and the inflation. Uh, Inflation, they say, is coming down, but it's not. Well, even if it is, uh, it's just that prices are not going up as fast, or they maintain their higher prices. Again, go to see the um, the shrinkflation that even Biden had talked about a few months ago. I think maybe even last year. And just go to your grocery store, folks. Just take a look at what's on the shelf and what the prices are of things. Um, you don't see, even in the 7-Eleven and stuff, them having those 2-for-1 sales as much. And even when they do and such, the bags are smaller. You're paying twice. You're paying significantly more. I'm not going to say twice as much. Yeah, sometimes it seems like it's twice as much. Um, but you're paying it for a bag of chips even. That the bag is smaller. There's less in the bag. I know there's always the thing about the amount of air in a bag of potato chips and such, but you can feel it. I mean, don't let anybody tell you it's better. It's not. It's not better. Things are tough, and then they're telling you it's okay that you're suffering. I don't understand how suffering is okay at any level, under any circumstances. Sometimes you have to, because it's out of your control. Um, Not when it's inflicted on other people, by other people. It's just not. Um, I feel this is all inflicted on the American people, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or an undecided or an independent or a libertarian or a Green Party. It doesn't matter. You're an American, and we're all feeling it. And to deny that what we're feeling isn't occurring is a lie. I mean, it's a lie. You can't call it anything else. They called it Bidenomics. I think you should hold their feet to the fire on it. They said that what we're going through is caused by Bidenomics. Bidenomics is wonderful. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. We're paying almost twice as much for a gallon of gas. That's a fact. You know, of course, prices vary from area to area and stuff, but it's still a lot more than it was 4 years ago. Food, higher. That's a fact. It's not a feeling. The pain we're feeling is in our pocketbooks. That's genuine. The fact that we have to turn around and tell our kids that no, they can't have that, new bicycle, that they can't have an ice cream cone, kind of things. Those simple little things. They can't have popcorn and candy at a movie theater when they go to see, a flick. Those things. I mean, I'm a parent. I know when my kids were younger and stuff. When it came to those enjoyable moments and such, it hurts. It hurts to turn around and tell them no. When you make plans to go out for their birthday or whatever and such, and you can't bring them to, the Chuck E. Cheese and have the party and stuff, that it just has to be you and them because you can't afford to have anybody else, and it hurts. It bothers you. And the thing is that's not easy. Sometimes things happen and life is tough. But what's going on with people today and such? No, this is inflicted because somebody came up with the idea that they were going to remake America. And I don't, Americans, citizens should dictate whether or not, whether or not America changes and how it changes. But I think we should stick to the standards that we had. And the standards is that it was supposed to be everybody's decision. They talk about, saving democracy. Democracy, yeah, it's supposed to be ruled by the majority. And right now, this country hasn't been ruled by the majority for at least the last 4 years. We've had a lot of squeaky wheels that have been directing this country. And that's not a good thing. And this credit card bubble is going to be a slow one. It's going to slow down the economy because of the fact of, I feel that a lot of people are starting to push up against their credit card limit. And everybody should be concerned. And I'm sorry I didn't say this sooner, because maybe people would have hung around. Maybe nobody's hanging around for this video. The banks primarily run the credit cards. Does anybody remember what happened in 2008? The housing bubble? And we had to bail out all the banks, and then people got mad because we bailed out the banks. What are we going to do in such when people can't pay their credit cards, that they hit their limit, and then they can't afford the food? They're going to find a way to survive on the food and feed their kids. They may have to stop paying their rent. They may have to skip a mortgage payment or two. They may have to maybe not turn the lights on, not pay their electric bill, not pay their water bill, not pay their property taxes, not pay, I don't know, get a new car. All of those little fancy gadgets and stuff there. All of that stuff is what's going to slow down the economy, because people aren't going to be purchasing those types of things anymore. And banks are going to start going, we need our money back. And people are going to go into their bankruptcy. I think it's going to be a slower bleed than the housing bubble was, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm not an economist. You know, and yes, I'm doing a lot of opinion. I feel though that strongly about it, that I'm saying it's not an if, it's a when. And it's because the simple necessities people can't afford. I'm going to give you another indication of why I driving towards that. My wife got a letter from her bank on one of her credit cards. Yes, we still pay all of our credit, but surprise, surprise, the bank has turned around and said they wanted to lower the credit limit on her card. I don't know about you folks out there. I don't know how common that happens, but like I say, I've had a credit card for, I don't know, almost 35, 40 years. Never gotten a letter from a bank that turned around and said they were lowering my credit. I've gotten them to, that they have voluntarily raised it because I was such a, they told me how good of a customer and paying and all of that I was. I don't know about you folks out there. Let me know how often that happens. I take that as a personal indication that the banks are starting to get nervous and have to start lowering the credit because they have to stop getting that much red ink on their books. It's great when people are only making $1,000 purchases and they're only giving $50 a month. They're never going to pay down their debt. And yeah, it's $50 a month and $50 a month, and we have like the chart that said 600 million more accounts, or there's 600 million accounts out there and stuff, and the banks are just $50 at a time. But it starts to weigh, as I think you should have been able to tell on that chart and stuff, on the bigger purchases that banks really live on, and that's cars, houses, and even getting home equity loans so that people can improve their houses and make home improvements. And those aren't happening. People are using their credit card to survive. If you don't think that that's going to drag the economy down, um, you might want to check with your economist friends. Send them to me and tell them to let me know and stuff how that's a good thing, because that's what Bidenomics is doing to the economy. Um, it's happening in the last 4 years. It's happening now. You're going to hear more, I'm sure, on the news how they're going to be talking about the economy slowing down. I think you've also heard other signs and such of the job market has missed expectations. When I mean they only had what 800 over 800,000 that they had to readjust the numbers. That's a pretty big number. Um, you got to start kind of connecting the dots. We all do, to be able to make educated choices and decisions on how we are going to live our lives as individuals, um, regardless of race, color, creed, sexual orientation, or anything. As Americans, as the citizens of this country, we have to start connecting the dots. Job market is not as good as it was. We now have anywhere between 12 to 20 million illegal aliens, illegal immigrants in this country. No matter how, depends on who you're hearing it from, that number from, between gotaways and all this other fun stuff. Um, those people have to live too. They're going to take uh, jobs. That's a fact. They have to live somehow. And if they're not taking jobs, then obviously this current Biden and Harris administration is going to hand them money to live. California is apparently making plans and to give what $150,000 to illegal immigrants to buy a house out in California. Um, Anybody, I don't care what your political affiliation is and stuff, please comment and tell me that you think that's a great idea. And when you do, make sure that you attach one video at least of that you have seen regarding the homeless situation in California. And I'm not talking about the wacko, weirdo, drug addicts, veterans. How about the families living in their cars? And they're American citizens. That you've seen those videos, and you still find that their idea of $150,000 going to illegal immigrants to buy a house is a good idea. Please do. I can't wait for somebody to do that. Of course, I want to have that discussion. Because, no offense, there's something wrong with you if you think it's okay. We got veterans, we got U.S. citizens that are homeless, that are struggling, that are trying to survive by killing themselves, putting things in debt, putting credit card debt. That one state thinks $150,000 to people who just walked into our house. Our country is our house. And we're just let loose to go through our house that we now have to take care of as taxpayers, is okay. It isn't. That's a fact. Anybody want to tell me that's not a fact? Please do. And I'm not talking about people who have been making an effort to come into this country legally through the proper channels and within our laws. Not talking about those migrants. They can come on in. They are welcome because they're willing to come to this country to support this country, to work hard and do everything that my grandparents did. Build something. Contribute to our American society. I'm not saying that illegal immigrants aren't. And again, go back and watch, I don't know which episode that was. One of my other episodes that I kind of addressed that and such. I'm talking about if you don't come in the right way, if you don't come in the way you're supposed to and such, you must leave. Because even if you tried to climb in through the window of my house, or bust through my front or back door, or come through a basement window, or fire escape, or whatever, into my house, yeah, you're going to be asked to leave. And I'm putting that very nicely. You're not allowed in my house. That's why we have locks. You want to ring the doorbell is what you want to do. You want to knock on my door and ask. To me, that's what our immigration policy should be. That's what I believe we were doing when Trump was in office. He held them up in Mexico until we could determine whether or not they could come into our house, into our home. Go listen to some of our patriotic music for this country. This is the land that I love. My home, sweet home. You know, you got to start listening to those words. Now, I think in the last 10 minutes, I'm going to maybe, I don't know, there's been a long one on that. So you understand this credit bubble. I think it should send a shiver up your spine a little bit, folks. Because people like me, I mean, I'm not saying right or wrong. It's not a judgment call and stuff. I try to take care of my, you know, I try to take care of my expenditures as well as I can, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are too and stuff. But as a country, we're headed for something. That bubble's going to burst, and we're going to have some trouble, and we're going to listen to the politicians blame the other side. I'm sorry to say and such. Right now, it is Democrats. I think they've lost complete control of their political party. They're losing sense and sensibility, common sense. I say that if you are a Democrat, you should be appalled on the direction your party has taken. I don't mind a good debate, but your party's headed in the wrong direction. We're not going to be a socialist country, and you can deny that that's what you're trying. Your party's trying to do, but that's what's happening. I think part of it and such is now for the other part, it's cryptocurrency. Not for nothing, I'm not going to be even coming close to saying that I am an expert on cryptocurrency. I have very limited understanding because, in a sense, I have little interest. But the only interest I have on it and stuff is that it does not become our form of payment. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. I'm just going to start off with some of the simplest that I have. The thing is that I don't understand it, cryptocurrency, um, in the sense of cryptocurrency is supposed to be what people would like it to become. Certain people uh, to replace the U.S. dollar as our nation's currency, for starters. I'm not going to get into the whole global thing yet. I might not at all, but I'm just trying to stay focused to keep it as simple as possible. I can't understand how a thing, cryptocurrency, can take on the value of another thing, the US dollar, which it's trying to replace. Excuse me. I'm going to try to explain or say that again. How does something take the value of another thing that it's trying to replace and make go extinct? Therefore, where is the value? Now, I've had friends of mine who have tried to turn around and say, the U.S. dollar doesn't have value in and of itself. I mean, there's nothing attached to it. I mean, I understand that, at one time it had the gold and the silver standard. And again, I'm being simplistic, so anybody that wants to come back and comment or let me know and want to say, the more complexity of it, be my guest. But my simple understanding of the gold and silver standard back then, for the sake of this video, is the fact is a dollar had the value of a dollar's worth of gold. Therefore, as gold would go up, so would the value of that dollar. So you would need less gold, the more expensive it was. So let's say 10 ounces of gold, and I'm using this very hypothetically, 10 ounces of gold equaled $1 bill. If gold went up twice as much and was now valued twice as much, it would take 5 ounces of gold to equal $1 bill. Then let's say it goes up another 20%. So that would mean another ounce of gold would come off, and now it's only 4 ounces of gold would equal that $1 dollar bill. Okay, so that was my basic understanding. Same would apply with the silver standard. So in my basic understanding, that's what it was. Now, we remove from that, and it becomes you can look at a dollar, you can look at any of our currency in the United States, and it says, it's based on the it's a promissory note from the U.S. government that says this dollar has a dollar's value, and its worth is guaranteed by the U.S. government. Basically, is what it is. Okay, so our government is going to guarantee the value of that paper money. That's good enough for me. And apparently, worldwide, that's what it has been for quite some time. That's why everybody else's currency seems to be weighed or measured against the U.S. dollar. Globalists and some countries and such apparently want to get away from the U.S. dollar as being the world's currency. I mean, all the other countries have their own currencies, but again, they weigh it against what the value of a U.S. dollar is as kind of the starting point. Whether it's the now, I think England is now gone, the UK has now gone back to the pound, I think, once they exited the euro. But you have the euro, you have the yen in Japan, the peso in Mexico, and you get, I don't know, again, I'm being very hypothetical about it, but it's for the purpose of just trying to get through this. 1,000 pesos equal $1, but a half a pound equals $1, and let's say 1.5 yen equals $1. Everything, their money and such goes up against the dollar. In weights, measures. I mean, we always seem to try to go up and have a standard, weights, measures. Yes, there's inches and there's there's inches, and then there's meters, there's feet and meters, and it's the metric system versus our system of measurement. I get it, but we try to, even meters and stuff. How much is a meter? A meter is almost like, a little over 3 feet kind of thing. All right. So hopefully we're all on the same page. The purpose of the cryptocurrency, like I said, if the cryptocurrency is going to have a value, and it does now in the markets, look at it. Bitcoin is worth $50,000. Here's where I get hung up. When the dollar goes away, because now we're all crypto, we're all Bitcoin. A Bitcoin is going to have the value of what when it takes over and US dollars go away? What is its value? Are we going back to a gold, silver type standard? Are we going to, I don't know, try to do Star Trek and have the mysterious credits? Because that's what crypto's starting to sound like. I have X amount of credits. You never see a credit. They were always like a stack of, colored cards on Star Trek. I'm trying to understand where crypto comes in to have a value. I don't know how a gallon of milk, how much a gallon of milk is going to be worth in crypto. Are we going to start going into decimal places and stuff? Because I think the common person on this, in this country, on this planet, head's going to explode if they have to sit there and go, oh, that's worth 0.0004832 crypto. So if somebody wants to explain it to me out there and stuff, how is it going to work once you make paper money disappear? Because it's now replaced it, and crypto is the way to go. I really would love to hear from different folks to let me know. I'm sure I could do more research, but quite honestly, I tried looking up some of it and such, and I'm still kind of not getting it. And it's not that I'm going to sit here and go, I'm totally against it, because again, if somebody can educate me on it, that I can kind of help me see the light, maybe I'll turn around and go, okay, the light bulb's on. Now it makes sense. Yeah, this is kind of a good idea. But right now, I don't see the good idea. The only thing I see crypto has a positive effect on is governments. Again, I think part of the dark side of something that I've read about crypto and stuff is that crypto is being used by, we'll say, illegal activities to launder money. You can take a bunch of illegal gains, blood money in a sense, if you want to call it that, put it into the crypto system, and then cash out on the other side, and that money is whistle clean, because there's really no way to track, or we're led to believe there's no way to track crypto money and where it comes from or whatever. And once the crypto is exchanged hands and stuff, it kind of, you just get credit for having crypto coins, and you pay out cash out the other end. I know if that goes away and stuff, I guess the laundering part will disappear, but I can't see illegal groups, cartels, illegal, people of ill intent, getting away from making money that way, up until the point that everybody, the United States stands up and says, hey, you know what? We're burning all of our paper money and stuff. We're nothing but crypto now. There's something, and then the government controls it. Yes, can the government control, in a manner of speaking, our paper money? Yes, they can. Look at what has happened. We've printed more and made the paper money less worth. It's lowered its worth. Like I have described, $100 bought 4 years ago is 20% higher. You need 20% more dollar bills and such to buy what you bought for $100 4 years ago. Yeah, they can affect the paper money, but the thing is, the paper money's in your pocket. I have had it explained to me and stuff that if, so to speak, if anarchy completely took over and all of the governments collapsed, the paper money would be worth nothing. Of course, we see on TV and stuff, a lot of commercials and stuff to buy gold, be safe, protect yourself, buy gold. I hope that we don't get to that point. Um, I'm not leaning that far to the potential, because I guess to a certain lesser extent, I have a certain level at this point of our society's evolution and us as human beings and stuff. We're not going to let it get to that point. It's getting pretty bad out there. I'm just saying, to give countries, even our country and stuff, all the power that basically we get a chip of crypto that just carries our cryptocurrency embedded in our skin that we're scanning is a little bit concerning to me, because I don't want the government to know if I'm buying a stick of gum or I'm buying a Playboy magazine. I don't want them to know. I want to buy it for cash and leave the store. And nobody knows whether it was a stick of gum or a Playboy. Just, I'm just saying, I don't want to answer the oh, he bought a Coke, or what's the most bought thing. I want somebody to ask me if I'm drinking Coke or Pepsi. I don't want somebody already knowing it and they don't have to ask. Kind of see where I'm going with this? I mean, because to me, we go crypto and such, you gotta keep that electronic thing going forever. I will get into a thing of is the potential of EMF going off over certain portions of the United States. What happens to those folks? I understand that if you don't have it kind of written down what your crypto serial number was or whatever and stuff, and your electronic device fries out, you're screwed. That isn't, there isn't, maybe they want to have an all-seer that keeps everybody's crypto wallet under safekeeping. That kind of takes my freedom away from getting Coke or Pepsi and having nobody know or even caring about it. Should cause concern to everybody else. I mean, if you really start thinking about it, convenience. Everything should not be convenience. Your freedom should not be a convenience. It should be something that you love and want to protect. And I'm not saying that we need to, all lock ourselves in our house and call that freedom. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's not everybody's business what we buy or don't buy, and have somebody else have that kind of control, because that's what we're doing. We're giving control to something that doesn't have control right now. Where I spend my dollar and how I spend it and what store I go to, nobody knows. That's my decision until I do it. The only person that's going to know what I did and when I did it and stuff is the person on the other side of the counter when I'm paying. Yeah, okay. Maybe at the, the self-service register. And they have cameras and they take my picture or whatever and such. That bothers me too. But at least I can put in the dollars and nobody knows where those dollars came from. If you want to say that I'm not worried about and stuff, lightning striking the building and such and frying out my phone or whatever and stuff, and now I'm not able to pay anything and stuff because my crypto is lost. That's not comfortable. And like I said, they're gonna have to convince me on how to be more comfortable getting away from the thing that they want crypto to replace. That's what it comes down to. I still don't understand that part. I think they have to start with explaining that portion to me. Because I also see that what will become, in a matter of speaking, is a credit card society. We're going to charge everything to the point and stuff that we're going to lose track of what we're buying. And we're going to be so in debt that we're going to continue to have our reliance on government grow to the point that we're going to depend on it. And that's not where this country was born out of, and that's not what it should be. We should not be stuck to the government for survival. We want to live the lazy life. As long as we can afford it, we don't become, I don't know, a burden on society. Go live the lazy life. You don't have to be a brain surgeon. You don't have to be a millionaire. Enjoy your life if all you want to do is make enough money so that you can go fishing. God bless you. God bless you. Hey, if that's what works for you, go for it. If you need to be the king of the world, go knock yourself out too. You know what? Just don't step on my rights when you're on that path, though. And anything that you want to be in between that, just fishing or king of the world ambition, that's what you should be doing. Just don't let other people tell you what you should be doing. I don't want people telling me whether or not my crypto is going to work or not. Because if, I don't know, a computer error happens and stuff and I get shut down and now all of a sudden I can't feed my family because somebody shut down my crypto, that bothers me. You can't stop me having the cash in my pocket. So until a true better solution comes along, like I said, somebody can explain to me how crypto is going to be better than cash, please follow my chat on Rumble. Comment away. Send me an email. Give me a whole explanation on how I should change that thinking. I'd appreciate it. Prepare for the credit card bubble. I really am thoroughly concerned about it. And like I said, it's this administration that has created that. That's why people feel like they can't survive. And if you think that you're just going to write it off into bankruptcy, yeah, you're going to screw yourself up for 7 years. And if you have like a student loan or whatever and stuff, go back and watch that video that I put out and such, because you're in for a rude awakening. You're going to have no credit rating or a very piss poor one for about 7 years that you file, if you file for bankruptcy. And you're still going to probably have to pay off the student debt. So watch what you're doing. Want to thank everybody for watching. I hope it was informative. I hope it gave, at least was food for thought, that it kind of gave you something to take a little pause. Hopefully I provided some information and stuff for you to kind of want to research things for yourself. But like I said, come on back, give me a comment, give me an email or such, to let me know that you kind of feel that maybe I made a mistake or something, or you want to, thank me for at least giving you a reason to think and research for yourself. Don't believe everything that you get in a 240 character bit. Use it as a starting point. Use it as a launch pad, a springboard to look into the facts yourself and find out what the story really is. I'm not saying that everything out there is going to be the truth and stuff, but at least feel comfortable enough that the research you do and stuff is reliable and that you're able to say, hey, this is helping me make a informed decision. Let me know, and I wish you success. Here we go again. Gonna ask is, please, with all my heart I ask, if you will follow me on Rumble. That is the URL up there. You can also get to the Rumble channel. Like I said, you may have to register with Rumble and such in order to follow me and such. Believe me, it's worth it. And you can also set it up that once you have an account with Rumble, to even tell them and stuff, don't bother me. Or just tell them and such that when you're following me, those are the only alerts you want to know, is when I post something, that you post another video, that you want to be told that I have a video up there, because you want to watch it, because you do get something out of these and they are entertaining. Even if they make you yell at your screen, that's okay. You can also, like I said, find me on Facebook. That'll help get you to the Rumble site to follow me. I am trying to get myself monetized. because hey, I need the extra money. I'm sure everybody else does too. But not going to get into details on the extra money issues, my financial issues and such. But I could use the help, and I would greatly appreciate it. And again, whether you agree with me or not, I don't mind having a debate with anybody. So if you want to use me as your sounding board or debate buddy, and you want to just take the con on all of my pros and the pros on all my cons, I welcome that too. I definitely will do my best to step up to your challenge. And again, anybody can send me an email if you have any comments about any of the videos that I put out, any of the topics I've put out, or you want to suggest or recommend a topic that maybe you want me to address and get my opinion on. Please feel free to send me an email. Just make sure you put JMHO in the subject so that I can make sure that it doesn't get lost in the flurry and or blizzard of emails that I end up getting, because I do have a filter on it to make sure I am able to not do what I can not to miss it. So again, I know this ran a little over an hour and such, but I want to thank you all for tuning in and getting through this whole video. Again, follow me on Rumble. Please share it with as many people that you can, that you feel might get something out of these topics. I am planning on doing a second video out today. I have a couple of topics and such that I can select from. So please tune back in for the next episode too, and continue to watch. Thank you, and have a great day.